Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. I hope everyone is doing well. We're still currently just finishing off the double game week 19. I hope everyone's had a good bit of fun with the double game week. I myself had a little bit of a stinker, but today we're looking ahead to game week 20, looking specifically at our wildcard. Maybe, like me, the double game week hasn't gone too well and you're looking just to shift things about. Maybe you just fancy using your next wildcard. Today we're going to be discussing a little template, a little draft that you could use ahead of game week 20. If you're new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, really helps me out. And if you do enjoy the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Without further ado, let's get straight on into this one. So we've got the FPL website open here, and as per normal, I'm going to be trying to keep the team between sort of 100 to 103 million. I think that's the sort of price that most people will be able to afford. First things first, let's take a look at the goalkeeper and the player we're going to bring in. As I say in pretty much all my drafts, Martinez for Aston Villa looks like an unbelievable option this year. He managed to pick up 7 saves in the last game against Manchester City. Unfortunately, they conceded the second goal. He would have been on 4 saves with the potential of getting a bonus point as well. But Martinez, I think, looks like a very, very good keeper for an Aston Villa side that look like they can keep plenty more clean sheets for this season. But then with the second goalkeeper option, this is when you can kind of debate whether you want to go sort of, just a dud goalkeeper, a 4 mil option. With the double game weeks that could be potentially coming up though, I don't mind a player like Johnson, a player like McCarthy, the kind of 4.5 mil options. Also with a COVID situation at Aston Villa, each week we never really know what teams are going to play, so having a double down on goalkeepers isn't the worst idea at all. Then in defence, I think the Manchester City defenders, as most people will tell you, are pretty essential in the next few game weeks, at least in the next 3 game weeks, and then after that they do potentially have some double game weeks as well. And we've got Stones and Diaz, 2 players who have seemingly made an incredible centre-back partnership, and at 5.8 and 5.1 value actually offer very, very good value for money. Now we see those next 3 games for them: West Brom, Sheffield and Burnley. The Liverpool game will be tough. However, game week 24, apparently they're meant to have a double game week. Game week 26, they could potentially have a double game week. And game week 27, they're also potentially due a double game week. So Manchester City assets are definitely ones to hold. Now this next defender spot I would consider as another kind of 5 mil option alongside Stones. You've got players like Dyer who can fit in. You've got one of the Southampton boys like Bednarek. Southampton, even in the games you wouldn't expect them to, have been keeping plenty of clean sheets. However, the player I'm going to go with is Justin for Leicester. He gets so far forward. Leicester have kept 2 clean sheets in the double game week. Not many people really expected them to keep those 2 clean sheets. He also gets very high up in the bonus points. In one of the games he got 2 bonus points, even though he got no attacking contribution, and Leicester won 2-0. Kind of just shows how sort of well he does on the bonus point system. Check out, and with his fixtures, Leicester have got pretty nice fixtures over the next few game weeks. Everton away, they could, with the form that Leicester are in, why not? They could go to any side and keep a clean sheet. But Leeds, Fulham, how far forward Justin gets is unbelievable. So he could easily go and nab a goal, grab an assist in any of these games. So I think Justin for me is a very, very good option. Then this next spot is kind of like, your 4.5 mil and below spot. And this final spot is your sort of 4 mil dub player, which we'll come to because there's only really one player you can choose there. The player that I'm going to put in here is Tete, just because I've been personally impressed a bit by Fulham, how they're defending, and Tete bombs forwards. You could have gone for Robinson, but he's red carded, depending on how kind of a long term this pick is. But there are plenty of other players to bring in for this 4.5 mil spot. Tete is just the one I'm putting in there, but it is just a placeholder if you guys fancy sort of a different player in that spot. And this 4 mil dud option goes to none other than my man Tyrick Mitchell. 3.9 mil, drew a price rise, but 3.9 mil for a playing player. Roy Hodgson absolutely loves him for his defensive solidity at the back. He's played the last 4, 90 minutes in the last 4. He's definitely not moving out that spot. Yes, they did lose 4-0 to Man City, but it's Man City. Come on, no player is getting dropped realistically after playing against Manchester City. Then we take a look into the midfield, and there's 2 players you have to get in there straight away, and that's Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. Without a doubt for me, the first 2 names, you just bang straight into the wildcard template, no questions asked. Yes, De Bruyne does have that yellow flag on him at the minute, but I think that is precautionary, and it was precautionary from Pep. I do very much think he will play in the next game. Bruno Fernandes, unbelievable form unbelievable fixtures. Not much more to say than you got to have him in your teams. Now the next option, you could go with Son or you could go with Rashford and put Son in there for now because, you know, he's 0.1 more than Son. So, you know, if you want to make the transfer from Son to Rashford, easier to do than Rashford to Son. But that being said, Spurs, decent fixtures going forward. Son is also a very, very highly owned player. So, you know, if he does pop off and you don't own him, you stand to lose that a lot. But then again, you know, you pick someone like Rashford, a bit more differential. If Son blanks, Rashford goes and scores, then, you know, you're going to be flying up a lot more in those leaderboards than if you get the returns from Son. But I do really like Son, so he's a player that I'm putting in there. Now for the fourth spot, you could go for someone like Sterling, Mane, even if you're feeling like a punt, although, you know, Liverpool haven't really been scoring. And on that note is where we get to the discussion of Mohamed Salah. Now, personally, I'm still keeping him in my team. I still think he's pretty essential. And although Liverpool haven't scored in their last 4, it'll be interesting to see tonight what they do against Burnley. You know, if they only go and beat them 1-0, I can see a lot of people transferring out Salah. But if they end up going and beating them sort of 3 or 4-0, everyone's going to be saying, oh, you know, Salah's still essential, so on, so on. So for now, I think that Salah is going to be in there for me. But definitely keep an eye on that Burnley game and just have a little think of whether, you know, Salah is definitely a player you want in your team for the long run. As I say, a player like Sterling looks very, very good, but it would mean you would have to take out one of your Manchester City defenders. Aubameyang potentially could be coming back to form, but Salah for now I think is a reasonably safe option. I think the main thing is at least you don't stand to lose out with Salah if he does go and do very well. Obviously you'll pick up the points, but then, you know, if you want some more differential options, which we can kind of discuss a little bit later, then maybe you can move Salah out. And this fifth midfielder spot, as per usual, the duds. It's got to the stage in the season now where we know the kind of 4 mil dud defender, we know the 4.5 mil dud midfielders, and we have that kind of 4.5 mil attacker in Brewster Smith-Rowe, getting so far forward for Arsenal, picking up attacking returns as a 4.5 million player. I don't think you could really get any better, to be honest. A cam for Arsenal at 4.5 mil, what incredible value for money. And yeah, definitely a very good filler player, potentially even like a really good bench boost player, allows you to get so many other players in, and just generally looks like a really good talent in my opinion. Now we move to the forward spot, and straight away I'm bringing in the man Antonio from West Ham. He's come back straight away, he's hit the ground running, 2 goals and 2, picked up all 3 bonus points in both games, 18 points across the double game week. What more can you ask for from the man? He's got good fixtures, but as I'll quickly show you here, at the start of the season, it didn't really matter who he was playing. He picked up a goal against Arsenal, goal against Leicester, goal against Manchester City. The guy can score against anyone. He's really kind of polished off his game, got his finishing boots on. And I think Antonio looks like a really, really good option. Now, for the final 2 attackers, it's really just kind of, for me, what other 6 mil to kind of 7 mil striker you want to put in there. The second one I'm going to put in there is actually Patrick Bamford for Leeds. I think, although, you know, Leeds haven't really been too on form of late, Leeds are a kind of team you can catch hot or you can catch them very, very cold. However, they've got Newcastle in the next game. And if, you know, the previous fixture is anything to go by, they should be absolutely battering them. There is also the potential come game week 23 that they get a double against Southampton. So I think Bamford still looks like a great option, and he's so heavily owned as well. You don't want to miss out on him. But there are other options. You can go for Watkins, you can go for Che Adams, you can go for Chris Wood, you can go for Neil Maupay. There are so many other good options at that price, and that leads us, you know, who do you put in the third striking spot? Well, this mainly for me is between Watkins and Che Adams. And I forgot to mention as well, Wilson looks like a very good option as well. Although I will say, although I do think Wilson is a very, very good striker, he's playing as a part of a team that don't look particularly good. Apparently, Alan Saint-Maximin is due back reasonably soon, and that definitely does change the kind of dynamic and the way that Newcastle attack. He's their transition player, allows them to go from defence to attack smoothly and get the ball in to Callum Wilson so he can finish off. But this third option, just with the potential that, as I say, they could have a double game week come game week 23, we're going to go with Che Adams there for Southampton. Southampton on unbelievable form throughout this season. They could get a European spot, who knows, it's so open this year. The value of this team then does come to 102.6 million. If you can't quite afford this team, you can maybe downgrade at Bamford to the likes of Watkins, you could downgrade Justin, you could potentially downgrade Salah, or you could look at maybe just using a kind of 4 mil dud goalkeeper. And in terms of upgrades, you could potentially upgrade the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, because, you know, there's a potential that come double game week 26, we're going to want a bench boost to Smith-Rowe to someone like Saka. Nice, a small little upgrade, but one that I think will be worth it. Adams, you can maybe look at a Danny Ings when he's starting to come back, or you could potentially do a kind of take out Son, bring in Kane, and then maybe bring in a Grealish. If you've got that amount of money, that is quite an expensive move, but you know, worth it I think if you have got the money. So this has been a quick little look ahead to Game Week 20, a little wild card, because I know some of you may be thinking about wildcarding. If you're like me and you had a pretty stinky Game Week 20, I know how it feels. Hit the wild card, let everything else go, get your triple up on City, get your kind of other assets in there who could be a bit of a differential. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next one.